What's going on, guys? Today I'm here to bring you another one of my 2014 WCQ hat format deck profiles. The deck I'm going to be showing off today is Plant Ruler. This is a deck that a bunch of people asked me to make, and this is probably the closest I've been able to get with this deck to actually perfecting it. And the reason I say that is because this deck was more commonly found the format after hat format, because we got Glow Up Ball back and a bunch of other things, which we don't have in hat format. So this deck sort of feels a little off because of what a lot of people were used to at the time. But again, this is the closest I've been able to get to making this deck feel really comfortable and very powerful. So I'm excited to show this off for you guys. It's a really cool deck. It can do some cool synchro and Xyz plays. So let's get straight into this deck profile. So starting off, we obviously play one of each Dragon Ruler. Obviously, really powerful cards, being able to summon themselves back from graveyard or hand by banishing other dragons or their attributes, and then also being able to add their attribute dragon monsters from deck to hand when banished, and also having hand effects if you discard them and their attribute. So like Blaster, you send it and a fire and you're able to pop a card on your opponent's field. Tidal, you're able to dump a dragon. Tempest, you're able to add a dragon. And Redox, you're able to special summon a earth monster from your graveyard. So very, very powerful, and the attributes matter the most in this build versus, say, Mythic Ruler or just your other Dragon Ruler type builds. And the reason I say that is because since we are playing the plant engine, the plants are all different attributes as well. So it has really nice synergy besides with just the dragons themselves. After that, we play 2 copies of Mythic Water Dragon and 1 Mythic Tree Dragon. Obviously, Mythic Tree Dragon, you can target a Water Dragon type monster you control and make its level become the same level. And Mythic Water Dragon, if you control an Earth monster, you can special summon it from your hand, but you can only do that once per turn. Mythic Water Dragon is really good specifically because there are a handful of level 8 Earth monsters you play in this deck. So being able to, summon one of those and then special the Water Dragon and then go into a powerful rank 8 is really good, as well as it being an 8 for some of our spell cards that we do play. After that, 1 copy of Debris Dragon, obviously just a really good card to bring back some of your monsters with 500 or less attack from graveyard, and then be able to make a synchro. And lastly, for the dragons, 1 Flamevel Guard. This is basically, a search target if your Blaster gets banished, as well as being a level 1 tuner. And same with, Debris Dragon is a search target off of your Tempest if it gets banished, and it's a tuner as well. And that's it for the dragons. Like I said, the dragon package is more so used for, extra utility with your plants. It'll make a little more sense once we move forward with the extra deck and everything else, but for the plant engine, 2 copies of Lone Fire Blossom, very, very powerful card. Being able to tribute it and summon a plant monster from deck is extremely strong, and this deck has some really crazy plays if you see Lone Fire plus Soul Charge, similar to how Sylvans can put up really big boards with opening the same thing. This deck can do some crazy things, and it's a fire for Blaster. 1 copy of Dandelion, as a level 3 earth plant, and it can make tokens, which is really good. 1 copy of Spore, another tuner, and it's a plant, and it also has the effect to banish a plant and special summon it back, and it'll increase its level by the monster that you summoned its level. So really, really good. There's some cool plays. Like I said, the Lone Fire Soul Charge play in this deck is crazy, and with the extra added benefit of the Dragon Rulers is so nice. And then I play 3 big plants. I play 1 copy of Titanial, 1 copy of Talea, and 1 copy of Chirumi. Not really sure how to say that one's name, but obviously Titanial When a card or effect is activated that targets a card or cards, you can quick effect tribute a plant monster and negate the activation and destroy it. Talea gains some attack for each plant monster you control, and other plant monsters on the field can't be destroyed by card effects, so very powerful there. And then the Princess of Autumn leaves. Your opponent can't target other face-up plant monsters for attacks except it. And then if it in your possession is sent to the graveyard by battle or card effect, you're able to special summon a plant monster from your deck. So this can kind of tutor out these. Also, they're level 8s for trade-in that we are playing. And there's also some really nice plays. Again, it's a different play now, but Lone Fire plus Soul Charge can just get all 3 of these out, which can put a lot of pressure on the opponent. Autumn Leaves has really high defense, and then these two just have really high attack. So there's some cool things with that. Also, they all have different attributes. So like Earth, Water, Wind, so that helps with your Dragon Rulers. And say you open like Lone Fire plus a Mythic Water Dragon, you can like Lone Fire into, say, the Cherubin, and then you can special the Water Dragon and make a rank 8. So that's pretty cool too. And then just support cards for both engines. 2 copies of Card Trooper, being able to dump dragons, as well as dump some of your plant monsters to grave. Say if you hit a Dandelion, you can summon some tokens, or, Spore, if you have some plants in graveyard, you can summon it back, make synchro plays or Xyz plays. Really cool stuff. And then 2 copies of Crane. This card's really cool. When it's normal summon, you target a level 3 monster in your graveyard and special summon it, but its effects are negated. So this plays a cool part because of one of the rank 3s we play, and the rank 3 basically has a Foolish effect or a Reborn effect for plant monsters. And also you can say summon this, summon back Card Trooper. Even though the Card Trooper's effects are negated, Card Trooper sends as cost, so you can then mill some and then go into the Xyz monster I just mentioned that we'll get to in a little bit. There's some other really cool plays with a lot of the extra deck. Also, this can bring back, say, your Dandelion, detach it, get some tokens. So many cool things, so I really do like both of those. Moving on to the spells, it's still a Dragon Ruler deck and still plants, so we are playing 3 Soul Charge. There's not as much draw power in this deck as other ruler decks, because since there's the plant engine, it's a little more risky to play things like Cards of Consonance, so I'm choosing to play 3 Upstart Goblin as some draw power, and 2 copies of Trade-In. Obviously, the big plants are level 8, and then you also have your Mythic Water Dragons, which are searchable, so basically at almost any time this becomes live, but you don't want to max out on it because there's only so many targets. I've considered upping the plant count for the bigger ones, but I just came up with a whole separate build for that specifically, and same with upping the Mythic Dragons, but I think 2 is perfect for this. For the other spell cards, 1 Gold Sark, being able to banish any of your Dragon Rulers and then add, some dragons with the same attribute is really good. You can also banish some of your plant monsters to eventually, there's some cool plays you can recur them with, so really nice there. 1 copy of Foolish for either engine, whatever you need. 1 Dragon Shrine. This is basically just a second copy of Foolish. Obviously, we're only playing the 1 Flamevel Guard, so it's a little less impactful, but still being able to, even if you're just sending 1 card, say a Dragon Ruler, it gets it out of deck, which is really nice. 1 1-for-1. Again, we play Flamevel Guard and Spore, so being able to discard 1, especially if you're lucky and have the Dandelion or just a Dragon Ruler that eventually you can just recur back anyways. This card's really crazy, and then obviously we're banishing a lot of cards, whether it's with the Dragon Rulers or the plants, say like a Spore banishing another plant. So we're also playing 1 Burial from a Different Dimension to get those resources back. And that is it for the spells. For the traps, obviously we're not playing MSTs. which would be really good. So instead we are playing 2 copies of Trap Stun. It's so much easier just to be able to shut down all traps for the turn rather than hitting specific cards, especially since this deck can combo off as well as just push for game. So shutting down everything is much better than hitting one specific thing, though I would say side MSTs at the very least. But to go with Trap Stun, we're also playing 2 Phoenix Wing Windblast. This can hit problematic cards, say your opponent's still playing Vanity's Emptiness in the main, or other floodgates like Skill Drains, even though this deck doesn't care as much about Skill Drain, though this deck does kind of like its normal summon effects and stuff. Similarly, how I said we're playing all these normal summons, that's also part of the reason I chose not to play Curry Bandit, is because I'm playing so many normal summons. But regardless, Phoenix Wing Windblast is a great card to out different things. 2 copies of Breakthrough Skill. We're not playing Skill Drain, as I just mentioned. Too many good normal summon effects and stuff. So 2 copies of this basically counts as 4 negations, which is really nice. And then the last trap card is 1 copy of Torrential, because clearing boards is really nice. Obviously, this deck plays a lot of big monsters, so things like Dark Hole aren't really necessary in the main deck, and I would say side things like Max Seas or Crows for games 2 and 3 if need be, but really you need to see as much of your combo pieces and different cards more than you need to see the hand traps, because this deck, has so much going on that it's important to see your pieces rather than see things that rely on your opponent playing. But that is it for the main deck. Like I said, there are some changes that I would like to make, but for the time being, this is what I have and I've been really liking. For the extra deck, for the rank 8s, we play 1 copy of Hieratic Sundragon, Overlord of Heliopolis. Really good card to out boards. 1 Divine Dragon Knight Felgran, and 1 Alsay, being able to out different cards, potentially mill a card, and it's also really cool that it's a plant. So there's plays like how I keep saying with Lone Fire and Soul Charge, where you're basically able to get all 3 of your big plants out of deck, and you could go for like something like this and keep whichever plant you want. So if you keep like the Titanial, you could always like tribute this off if need be, but you also can have like the Cherubin, or however you say it, the Autumn Leaves, so they can't attack this either. So there's just a lot of cool things, and these are just like the best ones in my opinion. For the 7s, they don't come up super often, but we do have Dracosac and Big Eye, because they are the best rank 7s you can make. Obviously, being able to summon tokens is also really important, because you can use those for synchro plays, or just stealing opponents' monsters is nice. For rank 3s, we play 1 copy of Levier. Really cool card. Like I said, you do banish a lot, so you can summon things back. Also, you can technically take your opponent's banish cards, so there's plays where that can come up. 1 copy of Mechquip Engineer. This could probably be a handful of other things if you want an extra Xyz, like a higher rank Xyz, or if you want more synchros in the deck. This could probably be cut. I've considered playing like Acid Golem, because then you can use your 3s to get over more problematic cards, for example, like a opponent's Felgran or an Ophion or something, without using high levels, but this is a flex spot for sure. And then 1 Melee of the Trees. This is the card I was telling you about. You need 2 level 3 Earths, and then once per turn you can detach a material and either send a plant monster from your deck to the graveyard, or target a plant monster in your graveyard and special summon it in face-up defense. So this card is really, really crazy. Such a good card, and that's also why we're playing the Cranes, obviously. For the synchros, 1 Star Eater, 1 Scrap Dragon, 1 Stardust, and 1 Stardust Spark. You could probably cut one of these for a Crimson Blader. I just personally really like having both of these, especially in deciding. Stardust Spark gets better because you can play like different floodgates and stuff. So being able to protect those is nice, whereas Stardust like generically feels better in a lot of matchups. Then we play 1 copy of Black Rose, being able to blow up the board, being a level 7, as well as since we are playing plants, we can take advantage of the second effect, being able to switch an opponent's defense position monster to attack and make its attack 0, which means we can just push for game really easily. So that's a cool card. Armory Arm, because any of our level 1 tuners plus one of the mass amounts of level 3s we play can make this, which can help push for game. And 1 Formula Synchron, because there's a play where you can make this, draw a card, and still go into like a level 8 Synchro plus still have board presence off of like 1 or 2 cards. So really, really good card. I definitely would suggest playing this for sure. No TG Hyper Librarian. I know a lot of older builds would play that, but again, that was the next format because Glow Up Bulb was in the format and it allowed for more plays. But anyways, that is the deck profile. Hopefully you guys enjoyed. If you did, please leave a thumbs up on this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell to get notified anytime I put a new video out. Share this video with your friends. Comment any videos you want to see in the future, or if you would like some gameplay with this deck or combo guides, definitely let me know. And anyways, I will see you in the next video.